Right. My name is Forster. I'm the Managing Director for Apps for Good UK. And what we do is we work with schools. We're an education charity that helps schools deliver a program that lets young people choose a problem or issue they care about and take it all the way through the design process to build and to market an app that solves that problem. And along the way, they become not just problem solvers, but also digital makers and learning all the skills that that involves.
And what do you feel the young people get out of that?
I think it's really fantastic because they do learn some of those harder technical skills, how to build an app prototype, but they learn what we would call those wider STEAM skills. It is about the creative problem solving. It's learning how to collaborate, to work with others. They get to work alongside tech professionals from around the UK, so they understand what that career is. They understand entrepreneurialism, not just about selling an idea, but about seeing opportunity, working with others to take that solution out there and make it happen. And they learn about design. So I think it helps explode some of those myths that technology, digital, is just about smelly boys coding in the basement somewhere. They get a sense of that sort of rich tapestry of what a career in digital skills could involve. I think the key within this is to avoid the obvious stereotype. It is really important that they learn those harder technical skills, maybe to build something. But that skill in isolation gets very dated very quickly. What industry tells us time and again and society needs is first of all problem solvers, that they have those analytical skills to understand what a problem is and how a solution might look. They also need to understand how to work with others. Very few solutions are created. Very little happens in digital today that is about one person. That is about learning to collaborate, communicate, not just face-to-face, but online. And it is about that creativity. I think one of the exciting things about picking up digital skills is learning the real rich tapestry, the range of things that you can create, that you can build. If you put those things together, you have something that doesn't just benefit the technology industry, but it's actually the sort of approaches and transferable skills. The last thing I think I would add is to be really truly digitally skilled is the ability to learn from yourself, not to wait to be told how to do something. Now that's not that you learn it in isolation. We learn it online, we learn it from peers, we learn it from peers online. But really to keep upskilled, anyone needs to know that that learning goes on. It doesn't just happen in one day. I think the first thing schools need to really understand and grasp is that when we talk about digital, when we talk about STEM, is that it needs to be continuous, it needs to be cross-curricular, and it needs to involve contact from outside. I say continuous because there's sometimes this feeling that there's a magic bullet, that we can in one activity, one group, one club, one day, we can STEM our kids and they go on from there. Really understand that young people, and as they are in every other area, are a diverse bunch. They need a range of activities. They need to be able to, different activities, different things will inspire those young people, and we need to start as young as possible. Primary school is key to get that confidence while they're interested and while they're still not afraid to fail, to experiment. I say that it's cross-curricular. Digital is not going to be the responsibility merely of the technology or the IT department. In the real world, it cuts across every career, every field of study, and that needs to happen in the classroom as well. And so a cross-curricular approach is essential. Now, if you say that, it becomes even more challenging for schools because there's no way a classroom teacher from a range of subjects can remain up-to-date, current. And that's where the contact with outside organizations, outside experts that allow us to both virtually, face-to-face, bring in those experts who are out there to share that expertise. That skills up the young people and inspires them, but it also skills up your teachers, because this is about an ongoing upskilling of teachers for their confidence, their understanding, that they can then pass on to the young people. I think industry is beginning to already wake up to that responsibility, and they are willing and interested in doing things. But I think it has sort of three strands. One, I think the technology, the digital industry needs to wake up and understand they need to define themselves more clearly. They need to help young people, schools, teachers, parents understand what a career in technology involves, what it requires, what doors it opens, and they need to find a simple way of gathering that together that is not specific to any one brand, any one company, but that is easy for young people to understand. They then need to roll up their sleeves and get into schools and work with them. That's working with young people through projects, and there's lots of activities. We do it, other organizations do it, give opportunities for companies to give their time, their expertise, to provide that either face-to-face or virtual inspiration for young people, but to also share that knowledge and expertise with teachers. Their day job is remaining current. Teachers have to remain current on so many other things. Industry working with teachers becomes a really magic combination. And I think that's important. I think we need to, as I say, that technology offers both the challenge but the solution. There's an opportunity, I think, through reports like this one, but others, for industry to work together to try and create materials, pathways, mapping online that's easy for people to do. Information that then can be distilled and put into classrooms, put into parents' evenings, and again, rolling up your sleeves, get in your car, get on the tube, and get into schools to talk to people about what that really means. I think we're on the right path insofar as that we're putting industry much more in the driver's seat about making that sort of thing happen. There are things that I think that happen systemically, and then things that actually have to come from the ground up. I think we do need to explode this myth that apprenticeships are only for a certain kind of student or a certain kind of job. I think we need to broaden it out, create the mechanisms that help smaller, medium-sized industry get involved in that piece, because I think that's where the greatest need is. And then I think it's about creating clear pathways in and out, that it's not a one choice, that the student stands at a fork in the road and they can only go one direction or the other. And I think joining it up more about what's happening within HE to demystify it. We need to blur some of the edges in and out so that it becomes a really viable and vibrant opportunity for all kinds of young people. This is the bit, as an ex-head teacher and ex-teacher, that I feel the most revolutionary. But genuinely, I think we need to step back and we need to understand how there are unforeseen consequences. When we put solely a focus just on knowledge, not also on skills, on formal qualification rather than wider ways of recognizing achievement, we begin putting things into boxes that for technology strip away all of the interest, the creativity. Now, that will happen on things like looking at more informed ways of assessing progress and assessing abilities. It's about recognizing a wider range of activities that young people do that are about learning and knowledge and skills. And it's about then freeing up more time in the curriculum for teachers to be able to let young people work in more creative, collaborative, self-choice ways and let that curriculum bring to life. Digital is part of that, but it's a part of a much richer tapestry. And there's also the pressure to skill up. We're asking in a way that no other industry would. We are asking teachers while they are doing their full day job to take on new skills, new areas, and then to deliver that in a very crowded curriculum time. I think it's a time to continue to step back and ask what we value, create space and create dialogues for teachers. Also to embrace and help teachers understand the wide range of activities where people can come in to help them do that. It's that signposting. There's so much out there to join up and to work in more ways. But yeah, I think the one thing, teachers, their greatest resource is their talent and their scarcest resource is time. And we need to find ways of building more of that for teachers. One thing to think about when we're trying to inspire young people about digital is to build in some more of those C's. I think the first thing is we need to stop decontextualizing, give young people a context. Put digital in that wider context. What is it for? What does it do? And if you can also build in an element of student choice, if they can choose that context and it's something that interests them as part of their passion, then technology, then digital starts to make sense and they're motivated to learn more. If you then can build in that element of creativity. Now by creativity there's two strands. One, it is allowing young people to think outside the box, to make things, and it is about create. Not just to study how existing products are created, but to see that they can create things themselves, move them from being consumers into creators. I'd also say then, technology is often seen as a hard skill and it's about machinery. But in fact, the richest part of digital is around that collaboration, the communication. And when you build that in, it comes to life with young people. Letting young people work in teams the way we do in business. Letting them collaborate with others, both in the classroom and outside the classroom. And when I'd also say, because it's digital, when you allow them collaborate, it doesn't just have to be with their peers in the classroom. It can be peers outside the classroom or outside experts. One of the things we love at Apps for Good is watching our experts Skyping in. So you might have someone from London Skyping into a school in Cumbria, someone from their New York office Skyping to someone in the remotest part of Wick in Scotland. That collaboration that brings that real world context, you can watch the young people's eyes light up. It makes sense. And then they're not just having it done to them, they create that thirst of knowledge that means they will become digital creators and learn that for themselves.